Hello, YouTube. I may appear to be an unfamiliar face, but I'm sure you're all quite familiar with what I do here on this channel. My name is Ryan, also known as Petirep, and I do the art for Rainbow Dash Presents and our shorts and our other little features on this channel. Greg is out of town this week. He's off in Denmark with Kenza, and so we need some stuff to put on the channel, so I'm here to help out. I'm going to be doing a little let's draw, a little tutorial on how to draw pony anatomy and stuff like that. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Now, if we look over here, I have a Photoshop file already open. I do draw in Photoshop. You don't need to. There are other programs available that are cheap and free. The one program I've heard a lot of people talk about is great is GIMP. GIMP is a good program and other stuff. I haven't used it, but a lot of people do, and apparently that is a good one. But I'm working in Photoshop, and I keep bumping my mic. Don't bump it. There we go. I'm working in Photoshop, and Photoshop CC to be specific, and that's what I do Rainbow Dash Presents in, so I am going to be using this, and I'll be giving a few tips here and there on tricks in Photoshop, but for the most part this is just going to be a general tutorial over how to draw. So today we are going to be drawing just random pony, I guess, since hey, that's what y'all want. But usually I start with just a simple outline. Doesn't have to be a nice circle, just can be sloppy and sketchy. The head is just a general circle. The body is a kind of a jelly bean shape. So usually I draw like a nice jelly bean shape right here for the body, just like that. Pretty simple, nice thin neck and a nice big head. Now of course this isn't show style. Show style, they have a little bit smaller heads and slightly different proportions, but hey, you're watching a video of my style, so that's what I'm gonna do, my style. Anyway, so just gonna be generic standing position, I guess. The back thigh is just a simple kind of oval shape, but kind of flat on this side with a point. Then I usually go off like this. And here's a mistake that I see a lot of people make: the anatomy of a horse. A lot of people mess this up and do it a little funky. So I'm just gonna lay this out nice and simple. The shape of a pony's back leg is like this. A lot of people try to make it like a human's and do like this, and then this is the foot. That is not correct, because you see this corresponds to here, and this corresponds to here, and this corresponds to here. This generally, like, essentially view ponies as if they have feet and they're standing on their tiptoes. This is like the back leg right here. This is the bottom of the foot. If you were comparing pony anatomy to human or dog, or not dog, just any sort of bipedal anatomy. So we draw the other side just like that. And then the tail. So that is the very general anatomy shape that you need. And if you want to put in more of the skeleton, you can. Now, one thing I said it once, but I need to stress it again. The anatomy, this sketch layer, is the most important part of doing a good drawing. I know a lot of artists who will focus too much on, they'll rush past this part, and they'll skip right on ahead to doing the advanced shading techniques and color and all that. And quite honestly, that stuff is not as important to having a good drawing overall. I mean, it is, but when you're starting off, you need to focus on the essentials. If you don't get the essentials right, your drawing is still going to be bad, no matter how much time and effort and detail you put into it. So practice your anatomy. Anatomy is the most important part of getting it right. So you notice I just drew the face, just a simple, just kind of curved shape for the nose here. I drew it slightly different than I usually do, but that's fine for now. I draw very circular oval eyes. The show actually does something more along these lines here, where it's more like a couple different lines. And it's like this, and then they have their eyelashes like this. This is how the show does it. in this kind of style. I don't do it like this. I do it just a simple circle because Rainbow Dash Presents has always been about trying to get it drawn as quickly as possible, and this is easier and quicker to draw than this. They're both good. In fact, this is a very pretty way of doing it, but it takes a little bit longer, so I shy away from it, and it's not really in my style to do that. So I guess this is Rainbow Dash because that's just easiest for me to draw because I draw her a million times. Now you notice that my sketch layer is very colorful, very bright colors, and that's simply so that I can just distinguish them, distinguish the different lines that I make, and it helps me later on. You'll see why. Because I started off doing these start off layers in black, and I had trouble when I had to go to the outline because my outlines were black and my sketches were black, and that complicated things. Hopefully this isn't too overwhelming for y'all. It's not the draw the oval and then draw the rest of the owl thing. There we go. That should be good enough. Any minor problems that I've done in my sketch layer I can fix later on. As long as the general sketch layer is good enough. Now if you just notice what I did, I turned down the opacity of the sketch layer just so I can, when I go over with my black lines, it's easier for me to see them. So now here I am going in with my black color, and I'm just going to draw, basically trace over what I just drew, but I'm going to draw, be a little bit more precise in my lines, a little bit more clean. If my lines are wobbly, I just do it over again. If you want, you can show a little bit of the cheek on the other side of the mouth just to show a little bit of depth. Let me fix that. It's a little lumpy. There we go. Wonderful. Perfect. Now I'm just going to trace along the outside here. I'm just going to flatten it out for the stomach and then go up like this. And then for the back leg, I'm going to start here. Or no, let me try again. There we go. Draw the thigh. Go under, draw the bottom of the thigh. Nice rounded. And then just like I'm drawing, tip to toes, just like that. Now I draw the front leg. And then the leg behind that. And for those of you drawing on pen and paper, or pencil and paper, whatever you use, whenever you're drawing your sketch layer, be sure to draw very lightly. I noticed that a lot of new artists or beginning artists what they do is they grab their pencil and they just stab the paper, just like really hard, and it leaves really dark marks that leave dents on your paper. You don't want to do that. When you're drawing, you want to start off drawing very, very lightly. You don't want any of your lines to feel final or be final. You want to be very sketchy and light and not too hard in your pressure on your pencil. On the tablet, that doesn't really matter, but I still kind of generally follow don't push too hard. But it's really important when you're doing it on paper. Draw nice and light lines, and then you can go with a darker, harder pressure when you're drawing your solid lines over the sketch lines. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Just draw a quick cloud thing here. I always draw slightly sloppily when I'm being watched, so. But this is good. Anyway, now for color. Oh, I should have gotten my color palette ready. Why didn't I get my color palette ready? I'll just go into my documents and grab a file that I already have. I'll just copy this, stick it in here, squish it, turn it, put it off to the side. Okay, now I'm going to make a new layer below my black sketch layer, this one here. So put it under that layer. I'm going to suck the color off of this one, and then use my fill tool, and just stick it behind there. And then go in and fill in a little bit of the lines I missed. And for those of you who don't know how I just did that paint bucket thing, the paint bucket is over here on the side, and then when you select paint bucket, you want to go up to here and choose all layers. And what that's going to do is that's going to sample all of the visual layers and allow you to paint inside the lines without actually making it on the black layer, or on the solid black layer. Then just the rest is just the busy work of getting all the different colors in there. Alright, now if this were Rainbow Dash Presents, I'd probably just stop here and this would be good, or at least as far as the character drawing goes. But since this is a tutorial, I'm going to keep going and give a nice little tip that people who, or if you don't want to use black lines like I did, you can actually change the black lines afterwards. So you should draw in black lines and then go back and change them if you want to. Now, if you want to change your black lines, this is how you do it, this is at least how you do it in Photoshop. What you do is you create a new layer above your solid black layer. Then you right click and click Create Clipping Mask. And what that does is that whatever you draw, so I'm going to choose a color that is slightly darker than my chosen skin tone. I'm going to draw over the lines. And you'll see that makes them a different color. So if I were to turn this clipping mask off and put it, let's say, up here, it looks like that, which is weird. But with its when it's a clipping mask, it just limits it to the layer right below it. Add like a little bit of there. That looks good. And again, I don't do this on Rainbow Dash Presents simply because it takes a little bit more time. And with Rainbow Dash Presents, I am trying to move as quickly as possible so that I can get to the next image and get the darn videos finished. There we go. There we go. I'm not too crazy about the blue. And again, if I don't like my solid or my altering colors, I can turn down the opacity of the fill layer so that a little bit more of my black underneath shines through. So it's a hybrid. There we go. That's good. I like that. Now, that was just a side thing. I'm going to show you some shading. For shading, I make a new layer above my color layer, and then I can make that into a clipping mask, just like I did up here. And I go in with black, and I just fill in the layers. Just like that. Go in, turn down the opacity so that it's not blinding. Just adding a little bit of shading makes it pop. Usually I put shading on the back legs and right under the neck, because putting it right under the neck makes the head pop and feel a little bit more rounded. Put a little bit of shading right here under the hairline, just to make it feel like it's popping out a little bit more. Over here on this now, just to give it a little rounded look. And please don't think just because I'm drawing my shading lines like this that you have to draw your shading lines like this. There are many ways of having light sources, many different directions. Don't teach yourself to draw shadows in any one way, because there's so many different types of lighting and so many different ways to give your characters a little bit of depth. I wouldn't want to limit you to just one way. Draw some shadow underneath. And there you go. That's pretty much basics, or that's just a basic drawing. There are many ways of doing it, many ways of drawing these kind of things. You can always go in and change things later. But that was fun. Thanks for watching, everybody. Greg will be back a little bit later this week, and I will have another Dinky vlog ready, hopefully Friday or sometime this week. Or next week. Depends. It's busy right now. I'm working on getting moved and all that, to moving to Canada, as you can tell by my flannel shirt here. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. It's been fun. Goodbye.